If you make $100,000 a year, you are by any statistical measure in the top 20% of earners in the United States. You are in the top 10% globally. The word for that is rich. So, why do you feel so broke? Why does a six-figure salary, the dream for millions of people, feel like you're constantly running on a treadmill, working harder and harder just to stay in the same place? Why does it feel like you're one unexpected car repair or medical bill away from financial disaster? The easy answer, the one you hear on the news every night, is inflation. And yes, prices are up. Gas is more expensive. Groceries are more expensive. But that's not the whole story. That's not even the most important part of the story. The real reason a $100,000 salary feels like $50,000 is because the system is designed to take it from you. It's a carefully constructed trap, a golden cage, and you are the hamster running on the wheel. Let's do the math, and let's be specific. You make $100,000 a year, that's $8,333 per month before taxes. But you never see that money. The first hand in your pocket is Uncle Sam's. We'll use California as an example, a state where many high-paying jobs are located. On a $100,000 salary, you'll pay about $15,000 in federal income tax. You'll pay about $6,000 in state income tax. And you'll pay $7,650 in FICA taxes for Social Security and Medicare. That's a total of $28,650 in taxes. Your 30% tax bracket is a myth. Your real tax rate is closer to 29%, and that's before we even consider sales tax, property tax, and all the other hidden taxes that bleed you dry. So your $8,333 per month is now down to about $5,945. That's a 30% reduction right off the top. Next, housing. The median rent for a two-bedroom apartment in a major U.S. city is now over $2,500. In a city like Los Angeles or New York, it's closer to $4,000. Let's be conservative and say you find a place for $2,500. Your $5,945 is now down to $3,445. You've just spent almost half of your take-home pay on rent, and you don't own anything. You're just paying someone else's mortgage. Next, transportation. The average new car payment is over $700 a month. The average used car payment is over $500. Let's say you have a modest used car and your payment is $500. Add in car insurance, which is now averaging over $200 a month in many states, and gas, which is stubbornly high. And maintenance, you're easily looking at $800 a month. Your $3,445 is now down to $2,645. Next, student loans. The average federal student loan payment is about $400 a month. But if you have a graduate degree, which many people with six-figure salaries do, your payment could be much higher. Let's stick with the average. Your $2,645 is now down to $2,245. Next, healthcare. You have a good job with good insurance. But the average family health insurance premium is over $1,800 a month. Your employer probably pays most of that, but your share is still likely to be around $500 a month. And that's just the premium. That doesn't include the deductible, which can be several $1,000s, or the co-pays, or the out-of-network charges. One trip to the emergency room can cost you thousands of dollars, even with insurance. Let's be conservative and say your monthly healthcare costs are $500. Your $2,245 is now down to $1,745. And now for the big one, the one that breaks the back of so many families: childcare. The average cost of full-time childcare in the United States is over $1,200 per month, per child. In many states, it's more expensive than college tuition. If you have 2 kids, that's $2,400 a month. That's more than you have left. But let's say you only have 1 kid. Your $1,745 is now down to $545. $545. That's what you have left from your $100,000 salary. That's for groceries, which are up over 20% in the last 2 years. That's for utilities, internet, phone bills, clothes, and any kind of entertainment. That's why you feel broke. Because you are. This is not an accident. This is the system. The system is designed to extract as much of your income as possible. Your landlord, your bank, your car company, your student loan servicer, your insurance company, your daycare. They all have a claim on your income before you do. You are a guaranteed revenue stream for them, and the more you make, the more they take. This is called lifestyle creep, but it's not just about buying more stuff. It's about mandatory expenses rising to meet your income. When you get a raise, you don't just buy a nicer car. You move to a nicer neighborhood with better schools, which means a more expensive house. You get a more expensive health insurance plan. You put your kids in more expensive activities. Your fixed costs go up, and your discretionary income stays the same. This is the trap of the six-figure salary. You're rich enough to have all the obligations of the upper middle class, but not rich enough to have any of the freedom. You're a hamster in a golden cage, and the only way out is to break the system. How do you do that? You stop playing their game. You stop thinking about how much you make, and you start thinking about how much you keep. The gap between your income and your expenses is the only number that matters. That's your wealth creation rate. And your goal should be to make that gap as wide as possible. You can try to cut expenses, but as we've seen, most of your expenses are fixed. You can't just stop paying your mortgage or your student loans. The real leverage is on the income side, but not just by getting a higher salary, because a higher salary will just lead to higher fixed costs. The real leverage is in creating income that is not tied to your time. Income from assets. Income from a business. Income that is not subject to the same taxes and obligations as a salary. This is the game the rich play. They don't have salaries, they have assets, and their assets generate income, and that's the only way to escape the six-figure trap. You have to stop being a revenue stream for someone else, and you have to start building your own. Because a $100,000 salary doesn't make you rich. It just makes you a more valuable customer. It makes you a more profitable cog in a machine that is designed to grind you down. The American dream is not about having a high salary. It's about having freedom. And freedom is not something that can be bought with a paycheck. It's something that has to be built, one asset at a time, one income stream at a time. It's time to stop being a customer and start being an owner. It's time to stop being a hamster and start being the one who owns the cage. Because the cage is for sale. You just have to know where to look. Was to right. Let's dissect this golden cage a little more, because it's a masterclass in social engineering. The system isn't just about taking your money. It's about controlling your choices. It's about making you feel rich while keeping you financially tethered. $100,000 a year is the perfect number for this. It's enough to make you feel like you've made it. It's enough to qualify you for a mortgage on a nice house in a good school district. It's enough to get you approved for a loan on a respectable German sedan. It's enough to make you a willing participant in your own financial servitude. You are given just enough rope to build a comfortable prison, the mortgage, the car payment, the student loans. These aren't just expenses, they are chains. They are long-term obligations that lock you into your job. You can't afford to quit. You can't afford to take a risk on a new business idea. You can't afford to take a year off to travel the world. You have to keep showing up day after day to feed the machine that you've built around yourself, the machine that is consuming your income, your time, and your freedom. And the most insidious part of this trap is that it's disguised as the American dream. You're not a failure. You're a success. You have the house, the car, the 5 kids. You're living the life that your parents wanted for you. But you have a gnawing feeling in the pit of your stomach that something is wrong. You have a spreadsheet that tells you you're rich, but a bank account that tells you you're broke. You have all the trappings of success, but none of the substance. This is the psychological warfare of the modern economy. It's a system that has perfected the art of making you feel rich and poor at the same time. Rich enough to be a reliable consumer, poor enough to be a compliant worker. It's a system that has turned the American dream into a financial hamster wheel. And the faster you run, the faster the wheel spins. So how do you get off the wheel? How do you break the chains? It starts with a radical shift in perspective. You have to stop thinking like a consumer and start thinking like an owner. You have to stop focusing on your salary and start focusing on your balance sheet. Your salary is just a tool. It's a shovel. You can use it to dig a deeper hole for yourself, or you can use it to build a foundation for your freedom. The first step is to ruthlessly audit your expenses. Not just the lattes and the Netflix subscriptions, the big stuff. The house, the car, the schools. Are you living in a house that is bigger than you need? in a neighborhood that is more expensive than you can afford just to keep up with the Joneses? Are you driving a car that is a status symbol, but also a financial albatross? Are you sending your kids to private schools that are draining your resources when there are perfectly good public schools available? These are hard questions, and they require hard choices. But freedom is not free. It requires sacrifice. It requires discipline. It requires a willingness to be different, a willingness to reject the consumer culture that has been shoved down your throat since the day you were born. Once you have created some space in your budget, the next step is to turn your income into assets. And I'm not just talking about stocks and bonds. I'm talking about assets that you control. A side business, a rental property, a website that generates affiliate income, a YouTube channel. Anything that separates your income from your time. Anything that makes money for you while you sleep. This is the path to freedom. It's not easy. It's not quick. But it's real. It's a path that is open to anyone who is willing to do the work. Anyone who is willing to challenge the assumptions of a system that is designed to keep them trapped. Anyone who is willing to trade the illusion of wealth for the reality of freedom. The $100,000 salary is a test. It's a test to see if you will be a master of your money or a slave to it. It's a test to see if you will build your own dream or if you will spend your life building someone else's. It's a test that most people fail, but you don't have to. You can choose to be different. You can choose to be free. The choice is yours. 2. Right. Let's get even more tactical. The first and most powerful step is to reject the premise that your housing costs should be 30% or more of your income. This is a modern invention, a rule of thumb created by the real estate and banking industries to maximize their profits, not your well-being. For most of human history, people spent a much smaller fraction of their income on shelter. The 30% rule is a trap. It's a license for the system to extract the maximum possible amount from you every month. If you can find a way to live on 15% or 20% of your income, you have just given yourself a massive raise. This might mean moving to a less fashionable neighborhood. It might mean living in a smaller house. It might mean having a roommate. It might mean moving to a different city or state altogether. But the financial freedom that comes from cutting your biggest expense in half is immeasurable. It's the difference between being a slave to your mortgage and being the master of your own destiny. Next, let's talk about the car. The car is the ultimate symbol of American freedom, but for most people it's a financial prison. The average car payment is now over $700 a month. That's over $8,000 a year for a depreciating asset, an asset that loses 20% of its value the moment you drive it off the lot. This is financial insanity. You are trading your future freedom for a temporary status symbol. Sell the expensive car. Buy a reliable used car with cash. Or better yet, if you live in a city with good public transportation, get rid of the car altogether. The average cost of car ownership is over $10,000 a year. That's $10,000 that you could be investing in assets that will make you free instead of assets that are making you poor. And finally, let's talk about the most important investment you can make. The investment in yourself. The system wants you to be a specialist, a cog in a machine, a person with a narrow set of skills that are valuable to a specific employer. This makes you replaceable. It makes you vulnerable. The path to freedom is to become a generalist, to develop a wide range of skills that are valuable in many different contexts. Learn how to sell, learn how to write, learn how to code, learn how to manage people, learn how to invest. These are skills that will never be obsolete. They are skills that will allow you to create your own opportunities, to build your own businesses, to chart your own course. The more skills you have, the less you need a job. The less you need a job, the more free you become. This is the escape plan. It's not a get-rich-quick scheme. It's a get-free-slow scheme. It's a deliberate, methodical process of untangling yourself from a system that is designed to enslave you. It's a process of reclaiming your income, your time, and your life. The $100,000 salary is not a destination. It's a crossroads. It's a choice between the golden cage and the open sky, a choice between the illusion of wealth and the reality of freedom. Choose wisely.